So what the hell happened at the now infamous compound in New Mexico? The media initially claimed that the compound was a training ground for children to carry out school shootings.
5 suspected Muslim extremists accused of abusing 11 children while training them to use an assault rifle for future school shootings, according to court documents.
They accused the 40-year-old and 4 others of child abuse and allegedly training children to carry out school shootings.
Now the outrage continues and the mystery deepens as 3 of the 5 adults residing at the compound were released without charges, which is being attributed to prosecutors missing the 10-day limit for an evidentiary hearing to establish probable cause for the neglect charges.
2 judges were forced to drop the charges, all due to a missed deadline. Prosecutors had 10 days to schedule a court hearing to establish they had probable cause for the arrest, but for unknown reasons right now, they never did so.
The prosecutors failed to meet a preliminary hearing deadline.
The rule is very clear that if somebody is in custody and 10 days goes by, that the district court shall dismiss the matter without prejudice.
How did this all begin? One of the recently released residents of the compound, Lucas Morton, actually owned a plot of land in the New Mexico desert. However, the compound that was built on an adjacent property owned by the Badger couple.
Tanya and Jason Badger have been dealing with
this is their bathroom, I guess.
This since this winter. The Army veteran couple bought this 10-acre plot with the plan of building a getaway cottage. The landowners say Lucas Morton and Siraj Wahaj mistakenly set up camp on their lot sometime after Christmas. They owned the lot directly behind the Badgers' land, and for months they've been either trying to sell their land or kick them out. All attempts have failed.
Now, Lucas owned a piece of property, but accidentally built the compound on the property next door to it, which belongs to Jason Badger, the man you see in the hat right there. So Jason tried to have them evicted in June, but it was dismissed by the courts.
Even more disturbing is the fact that Siraj had kidnapped his young son in Atlanta from a previous relationship. Not only were the authorities aware, but the Badgers reported the boy was at the compound and had vanished. Still, nothing was done.
Abdul Ghani Wahaj is the 3-year-old boy that police say was abducted from his home in Georgia at the beginning of December.
Property owner Jason Badger says for months he begged local investigators to do something about the family squatting on his land, worried about the little boy named Abdul that he recognized from a missing child's poster.
I called the Missing and Exploited Children's Hotline. I called the New Mexico State Troopers. I called the Taos County Sheriffs and notified them that they are on our property.
Now he wishes investigators would have moved in sooner.
He had said that they didn't want a police officer to go up here and do that kind of stuff because they didn't want to risk a Waco situation.
It seems the police only raided the area after a call from Siraj's father, who himself is a prominent imam.
Imam Siraj Wahaj says he is used to the spotlight for many things. As the first Muslim to offer opening prayer to the U.S. House of Representatives,
all-knowing, all-wise, just God,
is the maker of radical speeches pre-9/11.
And once you arm them with righteousness first, then you can arm them.
That he now repudiates.
The maturity, it's a growth. Maybe 4 days ago, I got a call from a brother Abdul Rashid in Atlanta, Georgia. He said Sapana reached out to him and said that we need some food, we're starving. So he called me. What I do, I said find out where we should send the food. We're gonna send the food, and then the information. She did. We gave it to the police. That's why the police came in, because information that we gave them.
This is when police finally moved in and found 11 children starving, but not the child from Atlanta.
Authorities were searching for that 3-year-old, but say what they discovered shocked the conscience of even the most seasoned in law enforcement. Those squalid conditions for those 11 children, the worst they had ever seen.
I'm a 30-year police officer. This is by far the worst thing I've ever seen as far as living conditions. This one hit us all very hard.
Authorities saying they found no running water or electricity, and those children ages 1 to 15 living in filth in a tent tucked deep in the desert.
These children, the best way to describe it is they literally look like starving refugees.
One has to ask why the Badgers were ignored for months and why the authorities did such a poor job gathering evidence.
Now, the property owner says he was particularly concerned because after investigators left, after they said that they had seized everything they needed, he came over to this truck, he opened up the back, and he saw a tactical shotgun within plain sight, as well as a Glock. He also found a passport of one of the suspects with a visa from Saudi Arabia. There are still telltale signs of weapon instructions. I want to show you over here. These right here are training rounds for shooters that are learning how to shoot right at the beginning. This is a bag full of live ammunition. Here's a shotgun shell, a SIM card. There's even a drone.
223, this is for an assault rifle.
The property littered with trash, gas masks, and Qurans. Tonight, the sheriff has denied our interview requests, and the FBI is not commenting.
Even more alarming is the fact that the boy from Atlanta had still not been found when the media was allowed on the compound.
Abdul Wahaj, still missing, and not among the 11 children taken from the compound.
And it's gonna always haunt me if they can't find this baby.
Police interviewed 3 women found inside the compound, but so far no one is answering the question, where is Abdul?
Why isn't anybody looking? If it were my kid, I would want somebody looking. Whether I was in the state or not, you know, I'm a mother, you can't just let that go.
And after his body was found, it was revealed the father had performed rituals on the child.
Warrants show Siraj is believed to have taken Abdul from his mother in order to perform an exorcism on the child. Abdul has a host of medical issues, and according to warrants, Siraj was depriving him of medication.
So what evidence is there that this was indeed a training facility?
Only section that was kept clear was this makeshift shooting range where authorities think that children were given advanced weapons training to prepare for a school shooting. According to court documents, one boy had been trained in the use of an assault rifle to kill as many people as possible.
One detail that was not released initially by the Taos County Sheriffs is that there was a 150-foot escape tunnel in this compound. This hole here goes into the earth 150 feet. There's a ladder at the end of this, and the owners say they believe it could be used as an escape route.
Let me show you this. This is in the middle of the desert. We've got this small hole, and this small hole is basically a ladder to a tunnel, and that tunnel extends all the way inside of that shelter, so it looks like it was some sort of escape hole or an escape tunnel.
Additionally, more firearms were found within the 100-foot-long tunnel underneath the main compound. Rifles with scopes were found in carrying cases near the exit of the tunnel. These rifles were 308 and 30-30. Also found in its purchase case was a Glock 380. These were all found near the exit to the tunnel. A backpack full of ammunition was also found near this exit.
Despite all of this, authorities aren't commenting on the handling of the case and even bulldozed the compound.
The FBI, prosecutors, and the Sheriff's Department all refusing repeated requests by NBC News to answer questions about the handling of the case, including why NBC's Gotti Schwartz was able to walk among the piles of potential evidence, like large amounts of ammo or body armor that were left behind uncollected, or why a court order resulted in the compound being destroyed, including the underground tunnel, which is now buried in rubble.
It should be noted that Morton seemed confident he would be released and stated the allegations were all for the cameras.
Calm down, calm down. It's all for the camera.
So why the kids were starving?
No, that's what I'm trying to say. What they're saying is not true. It's a tree in the forest of what's going on. You know, they're just trying to play on the public opinion. But no, that's not the case. What was my part?
Yes.
Well, they're recording the phone call, so the legal attorney, he advised us not to speak on the phone.
The FBI had also been gathering information on Siraj prior to this that focused on his weapons training.
A document produced by the FBI office in Albuquerque. It's dated May 15th of this year, and it appears to summarize some information that the FBI has gleaned over time on Siraj ibn Wahaj, defendant here today, about the firearms training Mr. Ibn Wahaj obtained in Georgia in 2015. It notes the comments from the companies that provided the training in their tip to the FBI that they've been open for 5 years and no one has taken that many classes as quickly in that period of time. So that is what made them suspicious.
In December, Siraj actually crashed his car. A police officer found guns, but nothing was done because they were legal.
Which is part of the accident report that on December the 13th, it was about 2 in the morning, there was a single vehicle rollover crash on I-65 in Alabama. This Trooper Earnhardt responded to the scene. He identified the driver as Siraj Ibn Wahaj. He identifies him by date of birth. It documents the recovery of weapons, Your Honor, which ultimately were recovered in New Mexico at the execution of these warrants. So the rifles and the handguns that were in Mr. Wahaj's possession in that Alabama wreck were later recovered in New Mexico.
Given the details of the case, serious questions must be asked about what was really going on here and why the authorities have done such a poor job in this matter.
You know, you use the right word, bizarre. Our family every day is saying, this is so bizarre, it's weird, it's like, what's going on? So there's something, I don't know, honestly, I found out that my sons do have arms, all of them are legal, all of them are registered. Having said that, I have no idea. I don't know what his thinking was, because to do something as extreme as this, it doesn't make sense.